Hi, this is Tad Walters back with you. Right now we're going to talk about turnarounds, what they are, how to form them on the guitar, where they go in the song and all that. Exactly what is a turnaround? Does that mean you just turn around? You get to the end of the song one time around and it turns back around somehow. Anyhow, right now in this video we're going to talk about how to make them. How to form them all the way up and down the neck in any key, and then you just pick your key and you can just put them anywhere. Also, this ties into going in through the caged system, C-A-G-E-D, the caged system, about chord forms and how they go together, how they all tie in together. Turnarounds can tie into these things together all the way around. All right, we'll get to it in a second. Okay, number one, we're going to go up one string. We're just going to pick one string. Let's take this top treble string. Once again, I'm tuned down a whole step, so this is going to be D. You can pick an E if you're tuned to E or E flat or wherever you're tuned. If your guitar's out of tune, doesn't matter. We're going to go from the open, I'm going to call that 1, and I'm going to go up to the 12th fret. So even if you're using an acoustic box guitar, you'll be fine with that too. But we're just going to run the scale. We're going to put numbers to all these notes. We don't care about letter names. That way you can play this mess in any key. Alright, so we're going to name the open string 1. And with the major scale, it's up a whole step, it's 2, 2nd fret. 3 is going to be the 4th fret. 4 is up a half step, up a whole step to 5. Up a whole step to 6, up a half step to flat 7 in this case. If we went a whole step, it'd be major 7, but when we're talking turnarounds, we're going to usually use a flat 7. So up a half step from 6 to 7, and then a whole step back to 1. That's the numbers on one string from one octave up to the next. Okay, so we got those numbers down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Now, we're going to do this little thing. I call them runs. I don't know if there's a specific name for this mess. I just call it runs. And I'm not talking about taco runs, but I just call them the runs. And we got 3 of them. We're going to break that scale up into 3 different parts, and that will be, I'll show you after this. I'll show you why we break them up into 3 parts. But run number 1, we got the open 1, up a whole step, 2, flat 3, major 3. I call that the 1 to the 3 run. One to 3. So we made it from 1 to the 3rd. I'm going to start on, let's say, the 4th fret on this one string. The next one is going to be what I call the 3 to 5 run. And this is going to be all chromatic, so it's all half steps. 3, 4, flat 5, 5. 3, 4, flat 5, 5. I call that the 3 to the 5 run. The next run, we've made it from 3 to 5. Let's start from 5 to flat 7 run. It's 5, flat 6, 6, flat 7. Another chromatic run, half steps. So there's the 3 parts on the 3 runs. And then once we're at flat 7, basically we're back to the octave. So that covers all the notes pretty much except for 2 of them. It's going to have all 12 notes, except for the two. Well, it's going to have 10 notes, it would be, I guess. We'll do some math. Anyhow, where does that tie in? Well, when you have a chord, we're going to be based out of the E position, E shape, even though I'm in D. It doesn't matter if everybody knows how to play the E chord like that, or like that, however you want to do it. When we build the chord, major chord, or any chord, we got a 1, a 3, and a 5. So every chord is 1, 3, and 5. So on this chord, we got a 1 on the bass, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. Now, on each string is going to be based off of one of those runs. So if you have an open string like we just did, we got to run that. Right, that coincides with the 1 to 3 run. The next note in our chord is a 5. Well, and that means we're going to run 5 to flat 7. If we put those two strings together, now we got see how this is coming together now? All right. The next string is a third. That's a major 3. So now we got a 3 to 5 run. If we add all these together, then we got so that's 3 or 2 runs put together, plus the open string. Alrighty. Next one is a 1. So we're going to have that 1, whole step to the 2, flat 3, 3. We can put these two together. Double stops is another word for that, but we don't have to use all that, but you can use whatever terminology you want to call it. Whoops. We put those 3 together and then we get that little thing. It's kind of a pain in the butt to play, but you always find little shortcuts to make things easy. We only got, usually most people have 4 fingers on this hand, or 5. Sometimes you use your thumb. So we got 6 strings and 5 fingers. Sometimes you're going to have to cut something out. Anyhow, next string is a 5th. So once again we got that 5 to flat 7 run. You have to find where you're going to find these things are going to fit. Got an octave right there. How about that? Ah, this is going to ring a bell for some folks. This turnaround was invented by everybody. Most people learned it from Mr. Lockwood. Muddy stole it and used it all the time. Jimmy Rogers stole it. Backlit on the bass string is a 1, a root note. 1, 2, flat 3, 3. All right, so that's going to be your basic turnarounds for the E position in the bass. And there's pretty much unlimited range here. You can make up your own, and it's pretty unlimited right there. But there's a foundation for E. Okay, now we've got this position of the E-shaped chord. And when we're in these turnarounds, it's going to put us up into the next spot on the guitar, into the next section of it. So what you do is you figure out, well, where's my nearest E chord in these 4 frets? Well, it's going to be what we call the C position or C shape. So if you take a C chord and move it to where it's going to be E, now you always find easy ways to play these things. So this turnaround, I'm going to put us right there. These turnarounds, or these runs as I call them, runs us up to the C position chord. The next one, you're going to, next position is going to be the A position. You take an A chord down here, however you do it, and move that to where it's in the E position. We're taking those runs. There's a 1 to the 3, 3 to the 5, 5 to flat 7. There's a root there. So you're going to number, make sure you put your numbers on each one of these strings. It's going to coincide with a number. So you're going to move that with those 3 runs, whichever one it is, and there you go. Next one up is a what I call the G and A position. That's to me that's the same thing. And now we're back in 12th fret. Everything starts over on the guitar. The pattern starts over. So basically, there's 3 positions on the guitar. They say Cage has 5. I like to simplify it down to 3. The E or F shape, the C or D shape is the same thing to me, and the A or G is the same to me. So I've narrowed it down to 3, and these runs run those 3 positions into one thing. So basically, on the guitar, you only need to know 3 things. It's that simple. Okay, so turnaround, where does it go? What does it mean? How are we using it? Now, right now we're talking about basically the blues guitar. And this can be used for jazz, jazz turnarounds, even a country turnaround. Most of that foundation of American music has that turnaround where if it's a 12-bar blues, let's just stay with 12-bar blues right now. Pardon me, coffee time. It's going to come back around, and on, let's say, it's going to usually take 2 bars. On the last 2 bars of that time around, we'll call it the turnaround because it turns it back around to the top. And like I said, there is unlimited amount of creativity you can put into this turnaround. The turnaround is the grand finale. You're going to have to make this the most prolific part of the song that you're doing. It's the grand finale. You want it to stand out with dynamics. Dynamics is important. That's going to be another thing some other time. But another thing with these runs is you can use these to play your melody lines on all the time. People use it all the time. You'll find with these 3 different runs that I've showed you, you can play all day long with these things. And double stops, triple stops, if that's an actual term, I guess. I don't know. I just call it runs. And you can call it whatever you want, name it you want. But just use this concept and open up the guitar for you, the fretboard, and make things simple for you. But yeah, let's do a little example. We'll go back to Mr. Robert Lockwood here. He used this stuff all the time, constantly. Take a little walk with me. that's an example of that. Here's one that Tampa Red stole off of me from back in the 20s, and Blind Blake stole it from me too. Blind Blake had the nerve to steal this from me, and he actually put it on his recordings constantly. He just has no shame whatsoever. But his, I invented this thing a long time ago, and he just took it. So did Tampa Red. It's just, neither one of them guys have any shame. But the trick on this one is you got one run going up and another run going down. So we can do this in the key of G position of a G chord. So that one's going down and that one's going up. Put that one on top to even things out. Alright, so that's a little thing that everybody stole off of me. There's another one that I stole off of Big Maceo Merriweather, who was a piano player from Chicago. Tampa Red recorded with him back in the early 50s, late 40s, I think. Early 50s. This one is something. This one make your, especially on your slower tempo blues tones. If you got a mean sounding song, you want it to sound mean. Oh man, this is the way to do it. Now I'm gonna, pardon me, Maceo was a left-handed piano player, so a lot of his stuff is really centered on the bass side of the piano. So we're going to go to the, let's stay with the key of, this is actually going to be F, but we're going to play on the guitar in the G position. So on that, one of those bars, when you go to the 5 chord, most people, tendency to go down to the 4 chord after the 5 chord. Well, we're not going to do that. In this instance, we're going to go from the 5 chord back to the 1 and walk it down. So once again, that's a 5 chord. And then back to the 1, walk it down. That's when you put your mean stuff in there. So I call that the Big Maceo turnaround that I stole from him. And that's just an example of that. That turns you, if you want to turn it into a mean song, a mean sound to it. It just sounds, it just makes it fiery. And you put that, when you put that bass, you put your mean stuff on top of that, your mean notes, your real hard driving stuff on there. Anyhow, there's a couple examples on the turnarounds. Okay, so hopefully that little thing about the turnarounds and the runs and all that, hopefully you picked up something off of that. Once again, my name is Tad Walters, and I appreciate you checking this video out. And please subscribe down below, and I have an email down there in the description, and you can contact me about guitar lessons or harmonica lessons or gigs, if there's any gigs out there left somehow one day, maybe, hopefully. But anyhow, y'all have a nice day, and I appreciate you. And once again, there's also a tip bucket down there too. Hit that for me if you would, and I really appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.